Bill arrived with us on the 23rd of December. I had a call from City Hospital saying, I hear you have a bed available for us. So immediately a bit of a misperception about what our shelter is actually about. Bill arrived in a taxi from the hospital, and there was some resistance from us because I wanted to be sure that he was okay to be discharged, and they reassured us that he was. But it became really quickly apparent that Bill, nearly 80, very frail, on a stick, I think possibly suffering from mild dementia, as he was incredibly confused and very aggressive towards us, also sporadically incontinent, so clearly not somebody that we were equipped to cope with. So we actually arranged to send Bill back to City Hospital to A&E, but he arrived with us 4 hours later in another taxi. He had actually walked out of A&E and was found wandering in Acox Green, where he apparently used to live, and somebody found him and sent him back to us. So we've spent nearly 2 days on the phone to the A&E, to social services, and in a defence of social services, they've actually come good and they've found a place for Bill, but it's been a really distressing 2 days with us making endless phone calls, really wasting our resources, hours of time taken away from other guests trying to sort Bill, and that's just incredibly frustrating.
And it's not our job.
It's not our job. Obviously, we care about all the guests that come here, but we're just open for 5 days. And when our doors close, we're effectively putting them back on the street. So we had huge concerns about Bill. And I think we're finding more and more every year that we're being dumped on by hospitals, by other services that really are seeing us as a bit of an overspill. And we're all volunteers, trustees included, and we shouldn't be picking this up. So that's quite a difficult thing for us, for the shelter.
What do you think, Don? Can I ask you about the Bill situation?
I feel sorry for him. He should have been put in a residential first of all, not brought here.
Yeah.
But it's a shame for him. I'm happy now that he's got somewhere to go.
Yeah.
Me too.
We spent a lot of time and energy though, didn't we? Just kind of we were trying to sort it out. It was like,
yeah,
you know,
the trustees were really trying.
It's kind of wrong though, isn't it, that we're picking up the pieces, that we're holding the ring.
That's true, yeah.
And if we hadn't been here, you know, what would have happened to him?
He might have died on the street, so we don't know.
So tell me about Bill, a little bit more about Bill's history then, of course, the last 6 months.
I think he said he drank for about 5 years, and then 6 months ago he got either kicked out or moved out of the house he was in because he was trying to stop alcohol, and he said that a couple of people were taking like advantage of him, trying to make him drinking in his flat. And then he said to the social services lady that when he got cold or he was hungry and didn't feel very well, he'd go and sit in the hospital waiting room and just wait until they kicked him out. And he'd just move between, I think he said, Selly Oak and the City Hospital, and he'd just keep moving around the waiting rooms and go on different wards because he had nowhere else to go.
And how was he? So where would he be sleeping? Where would he be eating?
He said he just slept where he could, and I think he just got food where he could. I think he's been to a couple of charities around in Birmingham, but he was never found out. He was never found in accommodation to live in or. And the full-time care he needed, and I think he just slept on the streets or in doorways or when he could. He sleeps sitting up a lot, but he falls over, he's got bangs on his head, he's got cuts on his arms from tripping over. How is it
that this voluntary organisation that we're working for over Christmas is picking him up and trying to sort him out? Isn't that wrong?
It is wrong, because we should be here, I think, to offer food and warmth, but not to offer a life-changing solution, which we have. If he went out here at 3 o'clock on tomorrow, he'd be dead in a couple of days because he's getting worse and worse and he's falling over, and it's obviously because we obviously care and nobody else does. I've spent every night with him just to help him because I'm here to do it and no one else seems to.
It's crazy that you're his kind of short-term carer though, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it was us who got social in. It wasn't social who come to us. And it was us who had to, the hospital just dropped him and we took him on, and he was homeless really, and we took him in, and now he's got a new accommodation and he's got some new clothes, and that's where he's going. But
you're saying that shuts in January. The hostel he's going to, it will be shutting in January.
Yeah, all NHS are closing all of it's an NHS, a social services residential home, and they're closing all of them. The social services are.
So what happens to him then? We don't know.
They haven't said anything. There's no.
maybe we need I don't know, it's not our role to chase this up, is it? But maybe
It's not
maybe
really,
we need to make a couple of inquiries in January.
Yeah, as caring adults,
Yeah.
and as carers from the homeless shelter that we're at, I think we should do. You know.
It's going to be a bit of a watch this space then.
Yeah, it is. So, Bill, I just want to know what you've gained from your time here at the homeless shelter.
Mainly friendship,
Yeah, and do you think that's been beneficial since you've been here?
without a shadow of doubt. You know.
And what about services we offer for you?
The services have a reason,
Yeah,
in as much as it gives you opportunity to choose to eat when you want to eat,
yeah.
and you can choose not to have something if you want to. But by and large, it's there for your consumption.
And where are you heading next? Like a care home?
Care home, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and how was that sorted out for you?
By the people here,
At the homeless shelter?
in the homeless shelter, yeah.
And how is it, if you don't mind me asking, that you ended up here with us?
I had no opportunity to do anything else. I got to the stage where I wasn't in a home, so I had to sort of take this, and it worked out very well actually.
Yeah, so now you're really not homeless anymore,
No, I'm not. No.
and you've got somewhere to go,
Yeah.
and you've met some really nice friends,
have indeed.
and it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here, Bill, and we are glad that we've helped at least, even if one person, it makes this whole thing worthwhile.
I just have to say this though, that it's me that's got to say thank you.
It's no problem, that's why we do it, that's why we volunteer.
And I think the whole thing about having this on a Christmas time is great, because a lot of people live on their own at Christmas, and to bring them along here, it's made their day.